Hello and welcome. Today we've got Lance Schuttler, and today we are going to be discussing the deep state's obsession with pine. Now, just before we begin, you can subscribe to our Telegram channels and to nicholasveniamin.com for my free email updates. And if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, I will leave the link below in the description for the full interview, unless, of course, myself and Lance can choose our words wisely due to the insane censorship that's happening right now. Lance, thank you for joining me, sir. How are you and what have you been up to?
Hey, Nicholas. Thanks for having me, man. This is going to be a great time. We've been up to some big things, and specifically relating to the pine tree, pine pollen, and a lot of the information that's come out about what pine is and what it does, and why there's such a fascination and interest with it.
Absolutely. I've heard that there's a lot of fascinating interest with pine, especially with the whole current thing, and even with consciousness and 5D and the pineal gland, which is the very key point here, because this is our history where our controllers of this world have been trying to suppress us, from the food industry to the water that they put, the things they put in our waters, from vibrations and frequencies they put in music. They are trying left, right, and center to close down the pineal gland. So we're basically like robots. So where do we begin? Why don't I just let you do a short presentation of what you would like to share to the viewers today, and then we can go ahead with some questions and answers.
Awesome. Thanks, Nicholas. Yeah, so this little article, I've got a lot of really interesting information in here. We'll go through this pretty quick for the audience, but people will find this interesting regardless of where they're at. There's going to be very fascinating information in here. So what is pine pollen to begin with? That's something that we want to talk about. So pine pollen, you can see, is the pollen that comes off of pine trees. All right. And I'm going to just show this short little 12-second clip so people can get a good little view of this. So you can see this pine tree getting cut down and that pollen dispersing everywhere. All right. That's the pine pollen. And what that has, Nicholas, is 200 different nutrients in it that the human body can use. And right now, given the whole global situation and just people wanting to raise their health and consciousness, pine pollen truly is a superfood. And that word is way, way overused in health and wellness industries. But pine pollen truly does actually fit the bill for that, because it has these 200 different nutrients. So vitamins, minerals, amino acids, enzymes. But the most important thing, and why we're going to bring this back into the title of this video, is these phytohormones, or these brassinosteroids. And what these do, Nicholas, is it's bioidentical hormones that actually exert effects for us humans. And it does it in a way where we're not going to get used to it, like, let's say, a synthetic testosterone or a synthetic DHEA. Okay. And we actually, as humans, share some of our DNA in common with pine trees. So we're actually, we co-evolved with them to be symbiotic in our relationship with them, meaning we benefit from what they can give us. And, hopefully we help take care of them too. So going into this a little bit more, these brassinosteroids, or these phytohormones, it's exerting these hormone-like effects in our body. And pine pollen is actually nature's highest source of something called DHEA. So DHEA is a youthing hormone, is what they call it, and commonly used for brain health, detoxification, healthy inflammatory response, so forth. But additionally, what these phytoandrogens do is help support libido. So we've heard of something called the doctrine of signatures. And this is the concept that many naturopaths and, old healers have used in the past of, okay, what's in nature and what is there often looks or behaves in ways that benefit us humans. Okay. So you can see this is an image right here, the middle circle. It's the pine pollen grain. And these little air sacs actually help carry that pollen and help disperse it so it can germinate. Okay. And when it does germinate, this is what it looks like. Obviously, this looks like, a male anatomy part. And it goes back to that credence of what is found in nature can actually help us humans. So there's, modern day science showing how this DHEA and these compounds actually support healthy libido. They support reproductive health. And one thing really interesting is that it has phenylalanine in it, which is a precursor to L-DOPA, and that's actually been shown to help women who have a hard time having an orgasm. It actually helps them have an orgasm in a better and easier way. And again, just supports overall fertility in men and women. So this, Nicholas, is just a short little clip you can see of what the pine pollen. Okay, so the pine pollen is inside there. And it's not ready to be dispersed yet, but you can just see what these pine cones, the little air sacs look like. And so when that happens, they'll transfer their DNA and it creates that anabolic explosive growth of what is up here. Okay. Now, getting to some of more of the like esoteric and spiritual concepts is, of course, the pineal gland and the pine cone. So this, you've seen this, I'm sure, is this Fontana della Pigna at the Vatican, and it represents a pine cone or the pineal gland. A lot of people have interpretations of why the Vatican has it there. What are your thoughts on that, Nicholas? And I'll be happy to share what my thoughts are, why that particular fountain is there or that statue.
I absolutely and honestly have no idea. The only thing that I can think of is that they put everything in plain sight and laugh at us.
Right. Okay, that's a perfect answer because that's what I think is going on as well. So my interpretation, what I've read and heard from many others as well, is that this pine cone represents the pineal gland, and we know that's the seat of the soul that creates DMT, creates melatonin. Melatonin regulates light and dark processes happening in the brain. Okay. And some people will say that, they're mocking, they're imitating, they're showing, hey, we control the pineal gland, we control consciousness, we control life. So, what we're doing here, man, is we're bringing the power back to the people from what the pine is. Okay. So stepping back, if you think about the pine trees in nature, they're exposed to all these harsh elements. They're battling it. The wind, the cold, the snow, the rain, all of it. They create compounds to protect themselves. Okay. And then when we as humans consume those compounds, we're literally consuming the conglomeration of different natural forces to create this amazing substance that is the pine pollen. Okay. And this DHEA, very interesting study with this is, I won't go through the whole thing, but in short, what it's done is it helps people to regulate difficult emotions in the brain in a way where they can process things in a healthier way. And this study was actually published in Nature, which is, one of the better journals out there, and something that, a lot of people respect. And, there's just good information with it. But, Nicholas, that we all have our challenge. We all have our challenges. We all, sometimes we'll get triggered, upset, things going on. And so if we can limit how we're responding in a negative way and enhance activity in certain parts of the brain that help us to regulate it in a healthy way, that's like half the battle right there. So much of our suffering is in our mind. We all go through it every day. Mm-hmm. And if we can take things from nature that actually help us, that's what we want. The darker forces, as you've talked about and discussed at length, they will feed off of that negative energy or that dense energy. And so if we can bring light to that, literally and metaphorically, we're transcending that battle right then and there.
Absolutely.
So you can see this is just a short little clip, kind of again showing the pine. Like from a metaphorical standpoint, these pine trees are so big, tall, majestic, and they're creating these compounds. And I really believe, man, that when we're taking this stuff, we're taking in the life force of these trees, and it really does help us in immense ways. I mean, consuming something that has 200 different nutrients in it and is nature's highest source of these phytohormones, it is going to exert benefits and effects in the human body. So the company that I own is called Ascent Nutrition. And what we have done with this, Nicholas, is we really want to bring out things that are amazing for people and that are actually going to help people, things that people can actually feel and benefit. Okay. Now, obviously, not every single person is going to feel incredible benefits right away. But the most important thing is that if it's being consumed, it is having an effect in the body, whether one feels it or not. Now, we have amazing reviews for people who actually do feel things, and some pretty dramatic situations, things that I can't really talk about specifically, but people getting wonderful benefits. And this is something people will really find interesting too. So there's only a handful of pine pollen companies out there in the world, more than a handful, but not very many at all. And all of them are sourcing from China. Okay. We are sourcing from Canada. And what that means is we're harvesting from remote Canadian forests. We're working with naturopaths. We're working with people who have respect for the land and nature and are doing it the right way. And we also have the most unique extraction method in the pine pollen industry. So you can see the bottom one here. This is a cracked cell wall, and it becomes oxidized. So that means the nutrients start degrading over time. Ours, these top two bins, it's uncracked cell wall. And so our nutrients stay living, raw, whole, and we can actually give people, that raw life force and those nutrients of the pine pollen. So, a question that I just ask people is, what would you prefer? I mean, something that's dark and clearly oxidized, or something vibrant and light like that? The answer for most people is pretty clear. So, that is really who we are, and what we've done is bring this stuff out to help a lot of different people. And I mean, we've sold now thousands of bottles, and it comes in and it sells out like that. So, I know that this interview will post here shortly. And when it does, we're probably going to be sold out of this product within a couple days after the release of this video. So if someone is interested, definitely click those links that Nicholas has, because it will sell out very fast. I will add to that, we currently don't ship to the UK or Europe, but that will get turned on here in about a month. So that is coming very soon, and we're very excited for that, to just get this out to even more people. Wow. So yeah, what questions or comments do you have, Nicholas, that I can discuss with you on?
The question I have is how often and what dose do I take this powder? Is it every day? How does it work?
Yeah. Okay. So the powder that you want to take 2 grams a day, and typically that will last 30 days. Some people it'll last a little bit longer. And in general, with every supplement, I always suggest at least one day a week. Don't take it. Give your body a chance to rest and relax, and to not get used to things, because the body will get used to things. Even the most amazing substances, it will get used to it. So, 1 or 2 days a week, take off. That's fine. And the best way is just mix it in with smoothies. You can mix it in with yogurt, with cereal, water, anything. There's almost no taste to it. It's a very fine, almost like cosmic dust sort of substance. That's what I call it, because it's just so fine. I mean, you've seen it, mm-hmm. And it's just a very easy thing to use. Pets can use it too.
Would you say that 2 grams is a teaspoon? What would you say that is?
Half a teaspoon, approximately. Yeah.
Okay. And Right. So the other thing is while I'm doing this is, somebody is taking this every day. What else should we be doing alongside this, so we can maximize the benefits? For an example, from my understanding is I wouldn't have any fluoride from the tap water. I would just drink clean water, and that would hopefully, help and not resist what the pine is trying to do. What are your thoughts, and what else could we do extra?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. So I always first recommend the free things, just like you said, with the water. So no fluoride in the water, consume water that doesn't have fluoride in it. Ground or earth, get your bare feet or your skin somehow touching trees or the earth, because what's going to happen is we're going to absorb all those electrons, those negative ions, and that will actually help to change literally the voltage in the body and make that even higher. And so we just have more literal energy flowing through the body when we're earthing and grounding, and then detoxing. And the easiest way to detox, sweat. And it's free. In general, you can go to a sauna or a steam room and sweat. You might have to pay for it, but if you can exercise, or some people I know, if they don't have access to a sauna, sounds strange, but it works. You'll have to be in the spring or summer relative to where you're at, but the sun, if you sit in your car and you have it off, and you let the sun, just absorb and heat up that car, you can actually create your own little sauna in your vehicle. I've known people who do that if they don't have access to a sauna. But the overall point is sweat, because you're not only going to detox clearly, but you're going to relieve the burden of your liver to have to process those toxins that you just sweated out. So it's really like you're going to make your liver's efficiency to detox and your whole body more efficient for whatever you haven't sweat out. Okay, now it can deal with that. So there's less toxins that the liver actually has to deal with. And when that happens, any foods you're consuming, you're going to digest better. So like the pine pollen, your body is going to be able to just use these nutrients in a much more efficient way. So like literally the two best things that I suggest for people, earth and ground and sweat, because it's very simple and it will have dramatic effects for people.
Excellent. Now, can you also give us an example of what type of experience we should be experiencing when this actually works, from clients that have taken this, from even your experience? And also, I know you don't want to say any names, and we won't, but I know that there are doctors that have said this is fantastic, who are whistleblowers in this crisis, and that's really good as well. So, what do you think?
Yeah. Okay. So the biggest feedback that we've got from people is just overall an increase in energy. They just feel better. They just feel like they have more energy, specifically for like physical energy, but also mental energy. Okay. A lot of people will feel like a mood upliftment or cognitive benefits. Those are the big things. And then definitely a libido enhancement. And it's great for people who like to work out. Like you can take it before you work out or after, either one's fine. But if you take it before, there's a lot of different nutrients in there that will really help to give you a better pump and help blood flow, circulate better. So like that's the time that I really like to use it, or like a post-workout shake or smoothie. It's a great time to use it. But in general, better energy, more energy, mood upliftment, and just feeling more of a health or of a cognitive health supportive effect.
Absolutely. Well, Lance Schuttler, thank you so much for sharing that with us. I will gladly leave the links below in the description so that people can have a look and even ask you further questions. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to the viewers before we finish?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you having me on, Nicholas. This was awesome. And I appreciate everyone who has listened, and anyone who has purchased in the past or who will purchase. It's amazing, and we really appreciate it. Again, we will sell out probably very fast. We do get batches in regularly, but because it's hand harvested, this is a limited product. And, that's not even a marketing statement. It's an actual fact. There's only so much we can get. And lastly, we are coming out with some things that are really going to be even more helpful for people and really help in a lot of different ways, and more things relating to pine. So stay tuned, because we're not done with what we're doing with the pine trees and how they're helping people.
Thank you so much, Lance. And we'll speak very soon. God bless you. Bye-bye.